Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Mercedes. Mercedes is a name we adopted from the Spanish, in reference to the Blessed Mother, sometimes referred to as María de las Mercedes, Our Lady of Mercies. The cult of the Virgin Mary has always been huge among Spaniards and Latinos in other cultures. Mercedes is just one more epithet given to their Catholic idol. Think, Our Lady of Carmel, Our Lady of Sorrows, Our Lady of Guadalupe, etc. Such names have been popular in the Hispanic culture in celebration of Mary, Mother of Jesus. The word Mercedes comes from the Latin merces, originally denoting wages, ransom, or in Vulgar Latin translated to favor, pity. In Catholic theology, Christ's sacrifice on the cross was considered an act of ransom, i.e., ransom for the sins of mankind. In other words, he gave up his life to release mankind from his sins and to set man free so that we may all ascend to heaven in afterlife. As a result, the act of ransom is synonymous to the act of mercy. The Roman Catholic calendar celebrates Mary under this title, Our Lady of Mercies, on August 10th and September 24th. Mercedes is now occasionally used within English-speaking nations, either having been influenced by their Hispanic cultures, or else in reference to the luxury German-made automobile of the same name. Mercedes is currently most popular in Spain and the United States. Personality of the girl named Mercedes. The number 9 personality represents the completion or ending of the cycle, and a need for perfection. This is the personality that moves from self to a greater understanding and compassion for the human condition and the world order. They want to make the world a better place. 9s are capable of great spiritual and humanitarian achievements. They are courageous and fearless, able to fight great battles on behalf of worthy causes. These personalities will not tolerate injustice. They are compassionate people with a strong sensitivity to others. They are able to both educate and inspire. Friendships and relationships are the lifeblood to the 9, and they place a high value on love and affection. 9s are often exceptionally gifted artistically, and they have a keen imagination and enterprising mind. Popularity of the girl named Mercedes. Mercedes has been around in America for a lot longer than we would have guessed. In fact, the name predates the German auto here in America. Actually, it predates the invention of the automobile. We can find Mercedes on the U.S. female naming charts as far back as the government has been tracking name data, 1880. The name was only used moderately back at the turn of the 20th century, and as the decades progressed, it started to slip in popularity. This is generally contrary to what we see with other names of Spanish origin, since the Hispanic American population is constantly on the rise. So it seemed that Mercedes was going out of style, and Spanish-speaking parents were no longer showing her any mercy. Then things started to turn around abruptly in the late 1980s and early 90s when Mercedes started to ascend. This was probably owing to actress Mercedes Ruehl, whose career was reaching its peak popularity around this time. Ruehl is part Cuban from a Catholic family. She apparently put her unusual name on the American radar for a few years. The name reached number 164 on the charts in 1991, which is a pretty respectable position, all things being equal. Since 1992, however, Mercedes has gone backwards in popularity consistently every year and is now down to levels of pretty low usage. Most people think of the highfalutin German-made automobile when they hear this name. Ironically, Mercedes really has rather humble origins. Quick facts on Mercedes. Gender, girl. Origin, Latin. Number of syllables, 3. Ranking popularity, 860. Pronunciation, Mercedes. Simple meaning, mercies. Characteristics of Mercedes. Intuitive, independent, multi-talented, oneness, perfection, philanthropy, idealistic. Cultural references to the baby name Mercedes. Literary characters of the baby name Mercedes. Mercedes is the only female character in Jack London's most widely read book, the 1903 novella, The Call of the Wild, and, oh dear, what a sorry representation she provides for the gender. Mercedes and her husband, Charlie, and her brother, Hal, are in the Klondike searching for gold when they are given the opportunity to buy the kidnapped Buck as a sled dog. Mercedes is a pampered, vain, and selfish woman loose in the wilderness with no guide but her own greed. She, her husband, and her brother mistreat the sled dogs, underfeeding them and driving them mercilessly. Mercedes even insists upon riding in the sled, which they have already overpacked. When Buck rebels at crossing the treacherous river and is rescued by John Thornton, Mercedes and her men press on, with predictably disastrous results. Mercedes' name may be beautiful, but in this character, she symbolizes the harmful effects of civilization upon the natural order of things. Popular songs on Mercedes. Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes, a song by Pebbles, a song by Janis Joplin, a song by Fonseca, Mercedes Boy. Famous people named Mercedes. Merca copyright Des Jelinek, daughter/namesake of the Mercedes cars, Mercedes, Princess of Asturias, Spanish royalty, Mercedes Ruehl, actress, Mercedes McCambridge, radio actress, Mercedes of Orla, copyright ANS, 19th century queen consort of Spain, Mercedes de Acosta, poet and socialite.